Man shot and injured after allegedly attacking police in Manchester. A man was shot and injured during an alleged confrontation with the police in Mandeville, Manchester on Tuesday morning. The police say they seized a gun. The Independent Commission of Investigations is investigating the incident. It is alleged that the man opened fire at a police team after they entered a property about 3:25 a.m. The police returned fire and the man was shot. He was assisted to the Mandeville Regional Hospital for treatment. St. Catherine businessman accused of engaging thugs to attack customer pleads not guilty. A businessman accused of calling a group of men to assault and rob a customer during a disagreement at his business establishment pleaded not guilty in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Tuesday. He is to return to court on May 16. Wee 33 is charged with aiding and abetting assault occasioning actual bodily harm and robbery with aggravation. The Chinese national pleaded not guilty through an interpreter when he appeared before acting senior parish court judge Janelle Nelson Gale. His attorney Arville Morgan told the court that defense is ready to proceed to trial in the matter. The Chinese national bail was extended to facilitate the submission of a medical certificate and outstanding police statements. It is alleged that on January 26, the complainant purchased items from Wonderful Choice Wholesale on Cumberland Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, and left them at the business for safekeeping. When the complainant returned to collect his goods, the Chinese national allegedly accused him of having an extra item in the container. A disagreement ensued during which the Chinese national allegedly called 5 men who proceeded to beat the complainant. The men dragged him from the premises, continued assaulting him and robbed him of both the goods and money. The complainant later sought medical attention and reported the incident to the Spanish Town police. The Chinese national was arrested and charged, while the police continued their search for the other 5 suspects involved in the attack. Chef charged with possession of prohibited weapon and ammunition. A 32-year-old chef from Richmond District in Manchester has been charged with possession of a prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition following a police operation in the parish on Tuesday. The accused, Javon Nelson, otherwise called Fry, was taken into custody after officers from the Mandeville police reportedly saw him acting suspiciously during their patrol. According to reports, at about 11 a.m., law enforcement officers were conducting operations in the area when they noticed Nelson's behavior. Upon searching him, police discovered a Glock 19 pistol with a magazine containing 19 rounds of ammunition inside a bag slung across his chest. He was immediately arrested and has since been formally charged. The court date is being arranged for Nelson to answer to the charges. Man who police describe as known violent producer fatally shot during alleged police confrontation. A man who police say was a known violent producer was fatally shot during an alleged confrontation with lawmen in Kingston. Dead is 30-year-old Ron Anglin, otherwise called Angie, of Denver Crescent, Kingston 20. Area 4 Commander Assistant Commissioner of Police Michael Phillips said Anglin, an alleged member of the Lower Marvelly Gang, was shot during an operation led by the Counter-Terrorism Organized Crime Investigations Branch. ACP Phillips said a police team entered a house and they were confronted by a man who opened gunfire at the team. He said the lawmen discharged their service weapons and Anglin was fatally shot. A firearm was allegedly seized during the incident. ACP Phillips said Anglin was linked to Monday shooting incidents on Mullines Road, in which one man was killed and another wounded. He said Anglin was also involved in a car-stealing operation across the corporate area and was previously charged with murder in 2022. The ACP noted that the operation is testament of police efforts to restore peace in the Marvelly community and to tackle gangs.
The deceased, based on our records, was a member of the top Marvelly gang, but he recently defected to the lower Marvelly gang. He recently returned to the Highland after traveling to the United States, and since his return, we have seen increased tension and other criminal activities associated with both gangs playing out in the general Marvelly space, as also sections of Seaward Drive and other close-by areas. The most recent incident being the murder of Wycliffe Riley and the shooting injury of a motorist along Mullines Road in the vicinity of Washington Boulevard. I want to say that we will be relentless in our efforts targeting these gang members as we seek to restore normalcy and peace within especially the Marvally area. Information suggests as well that this man was also a part of a major car stealing ring across the corporate area, and they use proceeds from this activity to really fund activities, criminal activities of the particular gang. And he was also charged with the murder of Simone Singh, and this was somewhere around May of 2022. So this man is really one that have been giving us a lot of problems in terms of crime and other incidents across the entire corporate area.
Government moves to standardize GCT on raw food for international trade compliance. The government has taken steps to standardize the General Consumption Tax GCT on raw food to ensure the country's compliance with international trade requirements. Finance Minister Favor Williams told the Lower House that under the current tax system, Jamaica risks jeopardizing trade relations with international partners. As such, the legislation is being amended to facilitate tax exemption for both locally produced and imported raw food.
By virtue of Jamaica's membership to the World Trade Organization, WTO, the country is not allowed to implement internal tax measures designed to protect domestically produced products. The utilization of GCT, which is an internal tax currently charged on imported raw foodstuff, but not on locally produced raw foodstuff, could be interpreted as a measure that gives protection to domestically produced raw foodstuff. Madam Speaker, this is considered an uncompetitive practice from the perspective of international trade, and Jamaica risks, at the very least, jeopardizing the relationships with its trading partners. In light of this, Madam Speaker, we are amending the third schedule of the GCT Act to equalize the tax treatment for both domestically produced and imported raw foodstuff. Therefore, both domestically produced and imported raw foodstuff will now be exempt from the payment of GCT. This amendment applies generally to the following items: fresh fruit and vegetables, ground provisions, legumes, onions and garlic, meat, chicken, fish, crustacean or mollusks, and corn. Madam Speaker, it should be noted that items previously not considered raw food and subject to GCT will continue to remain subject to the tax. Madam Speaker, although we are removing the GCT on imported raw foodstuff, this Honourable House should note that the items in question still attract taxes, primarily common external tariff CET and additional stamp duty. The removal of the GCT on imported raw foodstuff preserves our international trading relationships by removing the risk that Jamaica will face trade sanctions from other member states as a result of the discriminatory treatment applied to imported raw foodstuff.
Maria Dean suffered skull fracture, strangulation before death, stated pathologist. The now-retired forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy on Maria Dean told the Westmoreland Circuit Court that Dean's injuries suggested he was held down, struck against blunt surfaces, and strangled during the August 3, 2014 beating that led to his death. The doctor who testified via Zoom detailed Dean's extensive injuries, including a fractured skull, bleeding in the brain, and internal trauma in his mouth and throat. The cause of death, in summary, was severe blunt force injury to the head, resulting in a broken skull bone and bleeding in the brain substance in association with manual strangulation of the neck. This resulted in damage and bleeding in the neck structure and lack of oxygen, the doctor noted. 3 members of the police force are on trial: Corporal Elaine Stewart and constables Juliana Cleveland and Marlon Grant over Dean's death. The medical doctor further noted that bruises consistent with finger marks were found on Dean's arm and the back of his neck. He added that Dean swallowed some of his own blood, which entered his lung, causing choking that contributed to his death. There was no cross-examination from defense attorneys Thomas and Reed. The trial will resume on March 31, when a witness from the Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom is expected to take the stand. Stewart, Cleveland, and Grant are charged with manslaughter, misconduct in a public office, and perverting the course of justice. Prosecutors allege that they were on duty at the Barnett Street lockup when Dean was beaten on August 3, 2014. Dean died in hospital 3 days later. Stewart is also accused of ordering the cell to be cleaned before Indicom. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.